The king of the road. It is to Manila what yellow cabs are to New York and black cabs to London. Iconic, immediately identifiable, and evoking a sense of nostalgia. In many ways, the Jeepney personifies the Philippines, evolving and adapting to changing times and embodying the country's multicultural influences. And it's the only way to get around town. Much is different for jeepneys since they first hit the road not long after the Second World War. But the heir to the country's pioneer jeepney maker, 24-year-old Jackie Sarao, says that needs to change.
Every 5 years, automobiles have updates, with regards to safety, design, ergonomics, performance. I think the jeepney should at least ride along that wave, that pathway of improving.
One improvement Jackie is trying out, air conditioning. This is his first stab at designing a jeepney as he explores ways to take his family business into the future. Jackie's father, Ed, who currently runs Sarao, says what hasn't changed is how people feel about it.
The Filipinos' love affair with the jeepney is still strong up to the present.
Sarao holds a storied place in Filipino culture and history. It was started by Ed's father, Leonardo, in the 1950s, taking US Jeeps left behind from World War II and modifying them into a means of cheap public transport for Filipinos that they've been relying on ever since. But it's finding the future more difficult to navigate. Back then, they couldn't make jeepneys fast enough. Now they're making to order, like this one that'll soon be on its way to Dubai. Jeepneys are not expensive. This is the most basic of basic models. Under the hood, you'll find a reconditioned engine about 30 years old, probably. In the cabin, well, not much at all. 3 dials, battery, oil, temperature, a big red light, which tells you when you're stopping, and that's it. No speedo, nothing else. Oh, except if you want to know how much gas you've got left, you just take the lid off the gas tank here and take a look. It's becoming clear in form and function the jeepney, as Filipinos know it, must move on. There's no shortage of passengers, and at fares starting at just 25 cents, you can see why. But the king of the road is changing with the times. Jeepneys are stuffy, crowded and hot. They're also not doing many favours for the environment.
They see that, hey, this electric vehicle is not noisy, it's not smoky, it's a pleasure to ride, and for the drivers as well, it's more convenient because it's new, it's not an old dinosaur that that's like falling apart.
Ramel One is the CEO of PHUV, the only electric jeepney maker in the Philippines. In 2008, he saw both a business opportunity and an environmental need.
The jeepney constitutes 2% of the total population of vehicles in Metro Manila, but it also contributes 80% of the total air pollution.
PHUV started with 10 orders of e-jeepneys in their first year, and now it's grown to 30, supplying the city of Makati, schools and malls. It's a start, and a lot more needs to be done. But for Jackie Sarao, what's important is what the jeepney represents.
It means there's something that signifies the Philippines.
And for him, that's enough to carry this Filipino icon into the future. It's early morning.